Support for NPR comes from Cancer Treatment Centers of America, where treatment options include targeted therapies guided by genomic testing and immunotherapies that use the body's immune system to help fight the cancer. More at cancercenter.com.
Hey, in case you're not finding Car Talk's banter infantile enough, keep in mind that the final presidential debate is coming up Wednesday, October 19th, and the NPR Politics podcast team wants you to know that the very next morning, they'll have a new podcast ready for you. Find out who won the debate and whether the studio audience escaped without injuries. Check out the NPR Politics podcast on October 20th. Subscribe now or listen on the Talk Plaza. Didn't know we had an ethics department, did you?
Didn't know anybody had one. I'm not sure it's ethics. It might be something like poetic justice or something. Here it is. This is from a woman named Jackie Cholette, or Cholet. Okay, I just wrote to ask you.
How do you know it's a woman?
I don't know. Maybe it's a guy.
Jackie Chan, a woman?
It could be Jackie. It could be a guy. I don't know. I just wrote to ask you a question about my 91 Metro Geo convertible. I could not resist telling you a story about this car. I bought this car in 1995 after selling my 94 Honda Accord EX. I used to be an emergency room doctor, and my husband and I, that's how I knew it was a woman. I must have read this letter before.
There you go.
And my husband and I had just bought a home close to my work. I decided it was silly to pay $400 a month car payments, so I sold the Honda. I took the money we had from the sale of the Honda and decided to buy a little cheap convertible. Okay, so we went looking, and in our hunt, we pulled into a used car lot because there was a yellow Mustang convertible there. The salesman comes up and says, "Great little car. That would make you a nice little car to drive." Well, my husband is yelling at me, "It's a piece of junk." The salesman gets into the car to start it, and it won't start. He couldn't find jumper cables, and he continued to say, no, this is a nice little car. Nice car. The salesman was around 50-ish, about 100 pounds overweight, and chain smoking all the time that he tried to start the car. I finally heeded to my husband's yells, and I left the car lot. 2 days later, I'm sitting at my desk, and the nurse comes in to tell me there's a patient to be seen in the cardiac room. She's in the hospital emergency room. A man with chest pains. I walk into the room, and there lies the used car salesman. He lies there, and he says to me, "Don't buy the Mustang." No joke. The nurse looked at me and said, "Do you know this man?" I guess he had some idea that he may be close to meeting his maker, and he wanted to set the record straight. Either that or he knew I had the jumper cables in this case, and he was hopeful I would be able to find them. I love it. Don't buy the Mustang. At least he was able to recognize her in his sorry state.
Yeah, well, that great.
That's got to be great.
That's a great story.
Well, Jackie, I guess is that ethics?
Sure, yeah. Deathbed ethics, I think they call it. Well, anyway, if you have something you want to confess, or maybe we want to confess, or if you have a question about your car, call us and spill your guts. The number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Father Patrick from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, just in time. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Father, you may have been witness to some of these deathbed confessions or conversions or whatever in your day, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody ever say to you, "Don't buy the Mustang"?
No, I've had some people tell me to buy the Mustang.
What's up?
My temperature gauge isn't functioning. It's just down on cold. The car runs fine. The only thing is that I've noticed the heater's not heating as much as it used to. It still heats, but I used to be able to get nice and toasty in there, and now it's comfortable, but, it's not the sauna it used to be.
Oh, I would call this divine intervention.
I would say Andy Devine it comes from, right?
Andy Devine, yeah. What kind of a car is it that you have, Father?
A 1985 Chrysler LeBaron convertible.
Don't fix it.
No. It's a convertible. You got to always fix a convertible.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with your temperature gauge.
I don't think so either. I think it's behaving normally. I think what's happened is you're low on coolant. And the way the temperature gauge works is there's a sensor that's screwed into the engine that has a wire or wires leading to it, and those wires eventually wind up at the gauge. And the way the gauge works is the current is fed into one of those wires at the sensor, and then depending upon the temperature of that sensor, the resistance of it changes. And
the other side of the sensor, the part you can't see, is in contact with the coolant.
But not in your case.
Okay.
Not in your case.
So when the thing is in contact with
too low,
as the coolant temperature changes, more current is allowed to pass through the thing. That is, its resistance drops, and that's what makes the gauge go higher.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
But if no current goes through this thing, then the gauge reads zero, and it's because your sensor is no longer immersed in coolant.
Oh.
And that would explain also why your heat is lousy or maybe sporadic. If you rev the engine up, you get heat. If it's idling, you don't get heat. Is that true?
The longer I sit there, the hotter it gets.
And the hotter it gets.
I have to sit there a long time for it to get hot.
It never gets real hot, though.
Never gets real hot.
Yeah,
that's right.
You've got a leak, I believe.
Is this expensive?
Well, it depends.
Depends on what's leaking.
The leak could be a blown head gasket or it could be a loose hose clamp. So the range is anywhere from $1,000 to $3.
Well, let's pray. Let's pray for the blown
Let's
hose.
pray for the leaking hose clamp.
Yeah.
All right, we'll pray for the Browns too.
All right. Good luck.
Thanks for calling.
And remember, when you're praying, don't forget your buddies Tom and Ray.
All right, you need it.
Bye-bye.
It's always good to have insider information.
It sure is.
Yeah.
1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-22-78-255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Marion from Port Washington, New York.
So what's cooking, Marion?
So I have this Corolla, and it's really being a pain when it rains.
Pain in the rain.
Yes.
The pain in Spain.
It often dies, particularly in very, very misty kind of rain, like when it's been out sort of sitting all day. And I've had an experience where I've tried to start it and it's just been dead.
What do you mean by dead?
Like nothing happens.
Oh, nada. Zip, zilch, right?
Oh.
You turn the key and no sound at all?
Exactly.
Really? No kidding.
Oh, gee, and we thought we knew the answer.
I know.
What?
Did you have a backup question in the event that we couldn't answer your...
No. But I think I have another aspect to it which may change how you're thinking about it. Because
Well,
you're not thinking about
we
it.
haven't jumped into any good ideas.
We're not doing too much thinking.
Yeah, we're wide open.
All right. Well, here's the thing. It used to have a cutoff switch that was hooked up through the rear defrost button,
Okay.
which meant that I couldn't turn the car on.
Unless you push the rear defrost.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
So,
That was, by the way,
yeah?
millions of cars have these. These
Yeah?
are supposed to thwart car thieves.
Right.
So they get in there with their, dent puller, and they rip out your ignition switch.
Right.
They put the screwdriver in there, they turn it, and they say, oh, darn, it won't start. Maybe we ought to just abandon this car. Or maybe let's try turning on the rear defroster. Let's see if that'll start the car.
Right.
Let's turn on everything.
Yeah.
They usually do.
All right,
Right.
so go ahead.
So I brought the car in. It died on the highway, and I got it towed to a shop, and they said, you need a new alternator and a new battery. And this was like my third alternator and third battery in about probably 5 years. So they said, hey, wait a minute, you have a cutoff switch. Let's disable that because it's got to be the rear defrost somehow draining the power. So they disabled it. I had my new alternator, my new battery. And then like 3 weeks ago, it was raining. What I do now when it rains is I use all the electric stuff very sparingly. Like I use my wipers, and then when I don't need them, I turn them off, and then I turn the rear defrost on because sometimes when I have the rear defrost on and the wipers are going, the wipers get really slow, and I feel like I'm losing power. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah. So a few weeks ago, it had been raining, and I had the rear defrost on, and I had to go into a store. I parked my car and turned the car off, but the rear defrost button was still kind of pushed in the on position.
Right,
Yeah.
but it should go off when you turn the key
Well,
off. It does.
I think this is going to help you because I came out after 5 minutes in this store and I went to turn the car on and it was dead. It was that horrible sound where I turned the key, nothing happened, and I was starting to panic, like, oh God, I need to get a new battery again, the whole thing. And then I said, wait a minute, the rear defrost button is still pushed in, so I turned it off. and I turned the key in the ignition, and it started.
Ooh.
Okay, well, that didn't help.
No? Oh, I thought you were going to give me an answer.
At least now we know that when you get zilcho when you turn the key,
Right.
that it is not because the battery is dead.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have started.
Right.
So we can abandon that whole line of thought.
Okay.
Right.
Now,
Here's the question. What line of thought do we embrace?
Wait a minute.
Do we have a line of thought that we're going to embrace here?
Yeah, we are.
Well, I'm homing in on
so am I.
On your starter motor.
Oh.
And I think it has nothing to do with whether or not the defroster switch is pushed in.
Really?
Because no, they disconnected that.
Okay.
So you're suggesting that the fact that she turned off the rear window defogger
Is
and
a
the car
red herring.
started immediately, exactly, is a red herring and a
Yeah.
pure coincidence.
Exactly. You need a starter motor.
But okay, let me tell you that. I got a starter motor in April.
Oh.
Yeah, well, they only last 6-7 weeks.
Come on.
Well,
He might be right.
Really?
Because if you had left out all the information about the rear window defogger, we would have
Told me I needed a new
leapt
starter.
onto the idea of a bad starter because
Right.
it's a classic symptom.
Well, does that explain then when I'm driving along and I'm using the wipers and the rear defogger?
No, it doesn't. And that's what's troubling
no,
me.
it isn't troubling me because when
Because if it were, he would be wrong.
no, I mean when you have your wipers and your lights on and all that,
Right.
If your wipers are working and you turn the headlights on, the wipers will slow down.
Yeah.
When you rev up the engine, i.e., when you accelerate, you'll notice that the wipers speed up. And then when you come down to idle again, the wipers slow down. Every car does that. That's normal.
Yeah.
And that
But
tells
does every car do that, like after you've had both the wipers and the rear defog on for
yeah,
several minutes?
you're just yeah. I think you're just paranoid now.
All right, I am. I'm totally
I know you
paranoid.
are. I know you are. That's why we're trying to calm you down.
All right, good.
We're trying to talk you down, Marion.
Very good. Thank you. I need to be
Well,
calm.
I hate to say it, but I have to agree with my brother
Really?
that the rear window defogger is a red herring.
I'm shocked.
And
Okay.
you need another starter. Well, while you're there, have them throw in an alternator and a battery too.
Yeah, why not?
No, but the starter's going to fix it.
All right.
See you, Marion.
Thanks a lot.
Good
Bye-bye.
luck.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
She'll be on Stop the Chump.
Oh yeah, 1-888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255. A lawyer on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Paul from Eagle River, Wisconsin.
Eagle River.
Hi, Paul.
Eagle River.
I love it. Eagle River. Boy, that sounds like a faraway place.
It's really pretty up here.
I'm sure it is.
Sticks and trees, resort area, very nice.
Yeah.
I just returned from a vacation drive from northern Wisconsin to Florida and back. It's about a 24-hour drive each way.
Okay.
A serious domestic problem has developed during the drive, and I need your help. My Chevy Suburban has a turn signal clicker that is totally inaudible to me. I cannot hear the clicker. So I tend to leave it on sometimes. And however, my wife and 3 daughters can be sound asleep in the back of the Suburban,
And they'll hear it.
and they are awakened by the clicker. And then they announce to me in unison, "You left the clicker on again."
Yeah.
And so this is getting really annoying. Is there any way to hook up or make the clicker sound louder, or hook up a siren or a strobe light or a shot collar or something?
Well, there are all those things. There's a flasher that flashes with the dash. There's the thing that goes click, click, click. I mean, they thought that was enough, but
Okay.
But, I mean, it seems to me that the problem is not in the little clicking device, but since they can all hear it, the problem is you.
I think I hear okay, though. I can hear you guys.
Well, you're obviously not. I mean, if 3 other people in the car can be asleep and hear this thing going tick, 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 tick.
well, it might be just that you're not hearing that frequency.
So you think it's me then?
Well,
Yeah.
duh.
Yeah,
My
no,
wife said it was my hearing was going.
Well, you never know.
no, listen, Paul.
Yes.
You should.
A little louder.
Here's what you should do, Paul.
No, you need to see the doctor, the audiologist, to get tested to find out if you have a specific frequency that you can't hear, and you can that flasher that's in there that goes clunk 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 clunk. There are various manufacturers of those that have different frequencies. They're all pretty close, but you may be able to find one that's louder or a different frequency, something that you can more readily hear.
Okay.
I got a solution for you. You're going to love this, Bill.
Wire it up to the seat of your pants. You get a shot.
Better. I mean, this thing is relatively easy to find. It's right under the dash, right?
And the way to find it is you turn the key on, you turn the directional on, and you'll feel like it's a little cylinder about 1.25 inches in diameter, and you'll actually feel it going clunk, 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 clunk.
And it's either black or copper colored.
and you pull it out, and it'll stop doing it, and you stick it back in, so you'll know when you've found the piece.
Here's what you do. Next time you go on a journey with the family,
take it out.
No. You get yourself a couple of Dixie cups, right?
Oh, I got it.
And you tie one of the Dixie cups to the little device down there, the flasher, and a piece of string, and you run the piece of string to another Dixie cup, which you tape to your ear.
I love it.
And as you're driving, that thing will go cluck, 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 and it'll be blasting in your left ear.
Are your three girls are teenagers?
Yes.
They already hate you, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's very nice.
Yeah, if you ever did anything like this, they'd run away from home and they'd join the circus in Budapest.
Think of the money I'll save.
Think of the money you'll save.
Yeah, between the college tuitions and the
weddings.
You could just retire now, man. All right, go for the Dixie cups, Paul.
Hey, good luck.
I'll do it. Thank you.
See you later.
Yeah.
Why do they hate us? We're not bad people.
No.
Yeah, well, it's part of
it's
teenagerdom.
Well, although you should be out looking for a humongous pumpkin.
Oh, yeah. It is that time, huh?
Where did the word humongous come from? It is such a great word.
It is.
You were instead sitting around listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, known as NPR's two jack-o'-lanterns.
Jack What's-his?
No, jack-o'-lantern. Anyway, we'll take more of your calls in the second half of Car Talk.
So please stay tuned.
Looking at the miles on the odometer, it's like counting birthdays. Always looking in the rearview mirror, too scared to hit the throttle. I wanna drive up to the edge again, smash right through those barriers and warning signs. Pull myself out of storage and feel alive again. Right up to the edge.
And even though the Cambridge Wildlife Department decides to relocate a flock of Canada geese to our front lawns whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and the deeper philosophical issues.
Yeah. I got a letter here, and it gets into some pretty heavy stuff. But I thought it was important, so I'm just going to read it to you without comment, okay?
I doubt it.
It's from Leah. I wonder if she...
Without comment!
I'm sorry.
Can you just read the letter?
I have a question for you both that has absolutely nothing to do with cars or mechanical things. Although you will most likely laughingly argue that you are the most unqualified people to ask, it is for this reason that I feel you both to be qualified. Here's my situation. I am a college freshman at Mount Holyoke College in South Hadley, Massachusetts. While I have always excelled in school and am continuing to do so here, I am losing my attraction to traditional education. I feel as though I am in jail, and the prospect of spending 4 years here is enough to make me wish that an alternate death sentence was available. It gets heavier, man.
Just read the letter.
I know that it might be easier if I knew what profession I wanted to go into, but here I run into another conflict. I feel that in order to be successful, I must have a real career, such as a lawyer, writer, or environmental studies consultant, all of which I suppose I would enjoy. Yet I also want an Olympic-caliber life in riding and training hunter-jumpers. I've been riding horses since I was 2, of which I know I'm capable of accomplishing if I put my mind to it. Then there is my insatiable need for outdoor adventure, which tempts me into a life of poverty as a NOLS, National Outdoor Leadership School instructor. At the bottom of all this confusion lies a serious case of childhood withdrawal. Life just doesn't seem fun as an adult. The good stuff in life was all experienced as a child. Trips to the park, handfuls of cookie dough, and arms to carry you to bed. As of yet, I have not found a cure and instead only supporting evidence of the misery of adulthood.
Just read the letter.
So my question is this. How does one possibly live a happy, productive, gratifying life as an adult? I guess what I'm really asking is, how do I live life instead of hoping for death? And how do I reconcile my feelings about college and a career with the demands of living in America? I know you are busy, but if you have time, I'd really appreciate your feedback. We don't have time. Wow! Jeez.
What's her name?
I'm afraid I had to go pick up her letter on the floor. I'm afraid to mention her name now.
Well, you have to give us...
We're Leah. Her name is Leah.
Leah, we are reaching out to you, Leah, if you're there.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Now,
well,
I suppose
Leah
we
is
could...
suffering from classic homesickness.
Yeah.
She's bummed out about having joined the real world and being responsible with no one to tuck her in and no one to...
Well, but she's right. I mean, it is lousy, isn't it? That's why we never grow up.
Never grow up. Yeah, well...
One
of us hasn't. Tell her she can come to work for us.
Yeah, that way she'll never have to grow up. In fact, if she grows up, she gets immediately fired. Yeah.
Right. I mean, the first thing she'd have to do is engage in a water pistol fight with Berman every Friday.
No, Leah, it doesn't have to be as bad as you say it is. You just seem to be stuck with a bunch of stiffs out there in South Hadley. That's what it sounds like to me. Give us a call.
But you know what she needs to do? She needs to, first of all, stop taking it so seriously. I think the way I overcame this, my freshman year in college, was to immediately start skipping classes. You skip a few classes and you feel liberated.
Well, no, but I mean, she does hate the classes too.
Yeah, skip them.
Yeah.
Most of them aren't necessary.
Well, she brings up the issue is it really true that you must have a college education? I mean,
no, obviously it isn't true.
I mean, that's right. Bill Gates didn't think so. And in fact, I suggested people might want to read about my new theory of learning, which is on the website as we speak, which addresses this very issue. She shouldn't even be in college.
I've come to realize...
There shouldn't even be any colleges for that matter.
I've come to realize that you are a dangerous individual. And somehow or another, you need to be silenced.
Hey, Leah, seriously, give us a call. We'll give you a job, and all your troubles will be over.
Absolutely.
As long as your father keeps sending those checks. Tell him to send them directly to...
Right, no need to send tuition to Holyoke.
Care of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Well, normally we could cheer Leah up right now by screwing up the answer to last week's puzzler.
That usually gets a laugh or two.
Actually, people take great satisfaction in nitpicking my answers, and I don't understand why people take such pleasure in that, really.
Well, I can only speak for myself.
Yeah?
But I find it very cathartic to say, bogus. Try it sometime. Bogus.
All right, I get the hint. All right, well, next week we'll pick up where we left off with the puzzler. If you missed it, it's on the website right now at cartalk.com. Or if you'd like to talk about your car, we're at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, my name's Hope, and I'm calling you from Atlanta.
Hi, Hope.
How are you?
Hi.
Atlanta.
I'm just fine, but I'm a university professor, so...
No kidding.
Yeah, I thought I wanted to talk about my car, but now that you sort of went into it with that student that wrote you, I feel...
Don't you feel
bad,
huh?
to take a position on this.
Well, I mean, I think you should feel very, very guilty. You're taking part in the giant scam known as college, quotes, education.
Oh, well, that's very interesting to hear from somebody who's part of the entertainment industry.
Why?
Well, my brother used to be a college professor, I'll have you know, until they drummed him out.
Until they caught me
at the ethics committee.
In all fairness, she brings up some of the important weaknesses of the system. But
well, there are some very, very heavy, serious weaknesses.
Yes.
What do you teach?
What do I teach? I teach geochemistry. I teach geology.
Geochemistry?
Yes, I do.
Geochemistry. That's sort of the chemistry of rocks?
That usually brings the conversation to a screeching halt.
It certainly did there, I'll tell you.
What? Geological chemistry?
Yes.
The chemistry of geology.
That would be the same.
Like what? Like what?
Like what?
Give me an example.
Well, for example, how coal gets converted to diamonds. That's geochemistry, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't dealt with that particular issue
Well,
lately.
get to that because it could be lucrative.
Yeah, forget all that stupid research you've been doing.
Start working on the diamond thing now.
Well,
I mean, how much geochemistry is there going on as we speak?
Oh, what a yahoo!
I'm not quite sure how to quantify that answer, but I work with archaeologists and I use chemical methods on fossils to tell them about the climate environment of the time in which these peoples lived.
So it's normal chemistry, which just happens to be used in geological applications.
That's true.
In which case, it's misnamed. It's just chemistry.
Well, actually,
you teach chemistry.
Archaeological chemistry would be more like it. So you are studying. You are able to provide information about the past.
Aren't you glad you called?
At least that's what you purport to do.
You could call me a historian in that sense.
An art historian.
An art historian. That's
Chemical
it.
historian.
And you have a job?
Yeah,
So
well,
hope.
I also have a car.
Oh, we don't want to talk about your car.
You want to talk about your car? Or you want to talk about chemistry?
Well,
Or
I
education?
have an opportunity to talk with people that are slightly more enlightening on the chemistry end of things here, but I'd rather talk with you about my car.
Hope, I happen to have several degrees in chemistry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to discuss Fisher diagrams? I mean, I'm with you on all of this. I mean, you want
They
to
don't
discuss
do
like
Fisher diagrams.
PBSO4 double-double? I mean, come on. We can handle all of this.
Do you think people tune into this show to pursue their chemical concerns?
Well, no.
There may be an untapped market out there, yeah?
It may be.
Yeah. Okay, so what's with your car?
It's not strictly my car. It's the relationship between my dog and my car that's giving me problems.
Oh, really?
It's a big dog. This is a going on 100-pound kind of dog, so you have to visualize large. We're talking large dog.
What breed?
Well,
Mutt.
yeah,
Mutt.
I would
Okay,
say
large
so.
mutt.
But all if you did it democratically, it would be Great Dane and X Retriever.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm driving across the country. I'm moving to Atlanta. I have this great job, and I'm going to perpetuate the educational system of this country, which we've already discussed.
Bad as it may be. Right.
And I'm driving across here. The dog's in the back of the pickup truck, and it is tied in with a tie-down type of apparatus.
Yeah. So it won't go flying out.
Well, that's
jumping out.
the idea.
That was the basic idea.
Yeah, exactly. And I was rather particular about this tie down because you want them to stay behind the cab so they don't get things flying in their eyes, etc. So I arranged this tie down, and I went over to the Humane Society and talked with several people, and they said it was a fine apparatus, looked great. I started driving down the road, and the dog is not content just to stay in the back and look at this majestic country of ours go by on Highway 40.
Backwards. But he's puking at the same time.
No, she's facing frontward, actually. But by the time we got to Southern California, she had decided she wanted to ride on the toolbox because that gave her a better vantage point.
Uh-huh.
And by the time we got to Arizona, she decided that she wanted to ride on top of the cab. So I drove across this country, the better part of 3,000 miles, with a dog, a 100-pound dog, standing erect on top of the cab, on top of the truck.
Wow.
And this is the kind of thing that you go through some of these small towns in the middle of the country, and this is kind of an
attention
interesting sight.
I mean, people used to do this in the old days with those biplanes, those the stunt guys.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's possibly not good for the dog's safety, but you know what? It's affecting my mileage.
Oh, so this is where she likes to ride all the time now.
She will. If she can possibly scramble up there, she will stand fully standing up on top of the cab. This is a pickup truck.
All 4 feet?
All 4 feet. Yeah.
All 4 feet. It's
she just
trying
stands-
to face into the wind and really, it's a daredevil type maneuver.
And,
It certainly is.
And you let her do this?
What?
I mean, didn't you think she might fall off?
Well, that
has,
occurred to me a couple times actually, but short of hitting the brakes really suddenly and sort of forcing her into the back of the truck.
How did you know she was standing
Well,
up?
hitting
by
the
way?
brakes suddenly would force her to slide down the windshield and off the hood.
Yeah.
No, she's tied down.
Oh, she's tied down.
She's tied to the toolbox, so that she can't.
Oh, so I understand. When you slam on the brakes,
yeah,
her momentum would ordinarily take her over sliding down.
And then the bungee cord slings her back.
Slings her back. She
and she
slams
hits the
on the
windshield
tailgate
of the car behind you.
Well, is your larger concern the mileage or the dog? Because we could address either issue.
Well, right now it's the dog, possibly because I haven't really spent that much.
But Hope, I mean, you're going to be the talk of Atlanta. It's the wacky
really
chemistry
gives people
professor.
The impression that some kind of animal show is coming to town, or
exactly.
Or I didn't figure it out until I realized people were honking at me and flashing their lights and stuff. And of course, the dog isn't back there when you turn around, and so you immediately
did you notice
onto the idea that something's going on.
Absent from your rearview mirror?
Well, from right behind you, because you can see into the back, and you see the leash going up, and then no dog.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that sort of startles you when you're in the middle of.
Well, I mean, but now that you've moved here, I mean, all your record collection is not on the front seat next to you, so she can now ride in the truck.
I have to put her in the truck with me? That's your solution?
No.
You know, the reason she's up there
Uh-huh.
is she is fulfilling her duty as a dog. She is watching out for you. She is.
Sure,
and you don't have the decency to let her ride shotgun.
Yeah, she's probably protecting you.
Don't forget, dogs do that. I mean, dogs are protective, and she's loyal, and she loves you. And how do you repay her? By making her ride on the slippery roof of the truck. I think she ought to be rewarded by riding. In fact, I'd let her drive.
I couldn't just glue upside-down golf tees to the top or something?
Well, just glue her feet right to the truck, why don't you?
Well, dogs are amazingly sure-footed, but you can, if you want to do something humane as opposed to inane, what you did on the first trip, you can buy a harness for her that will actually keep her pretty much in place in the back.
Tie her from sort of all angles?
There you go.
I thought about that, but that really restricts her mobility.
Better than that, you have a short leash with
a
cement block attached to it, so she can move around if she drags us. I don't know the solution, but if you don't want her to ride with you, which I think you should.
Sure, you should have her ride with you.
Oh, I have to.
Yeah, I think she has. No, I mean ride with you in the cab.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, well, you don't obviously.
What
don't
if I have somebody else with me, for example?
They'll ride in the back. Give them the damn harness.
Yeah, that's what the harness is for.
Yeah, have your colleagues ride in the back. What do they think?
I can specifically designate that they shouldn't stand on the hood.
Passengers shouldn't stand on the
probably
hood.
Shouldn't. Well, it's very interesting. I have to say, I've never heard of a dog doing this, and it stands to reason that you started out where? In California.
Now you must
Where else?
You must have a photograph or maybe even a video of this, right?
Not as of yet.
Oh, you have to.
I would have to orchestrate the whole thing.
Well, orchestrate it and send us a photo, and we'll put it up on the website.
Okay.
Absolutely, because that's where it belongs.
Thanks for calling, Hope.
Yes.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Okay. I think it's time for us to take a little break.
Yeah, I need a break. I mean, my head just can't take this constant pressure. It's the pressure, Jerry.
I didn't know you felt that way about the show.
Not the show. I'm talking about these remote control vice grip headphones that Berman gave us. Every time I talk, it goes squeezes and squeezes.
Oh, no, that was me. He gave me a remote, too. Okay, we'll be back with more of your calls in just a minute.
So please stay tuned.
Well, his family owned the junkyard. He was a young son. He loved to build those stock cars and race them just for fun. At nights he'd run on dirt roads and look down on the mills. You could hear his big block rumbling, echoing through those hills. The cops would try to catch him, but he was just too fast. They'd get tired of trying, they'd let him blow right past. By the time he hit the racetrack, he was passing everything. People hear one sing, there goes a stock car king. Like a broken tailpipe, dragging on the road. He said sparks are flying everywhere he'd go. That Milltown boy found freedom, watching the world go by.
you know tattoo parlors report a steep drop in sales of I Heart NPR tattoos whenever we say it? This is NPR.
Hey, since you're listening to Car Talk, you obviously don't have very sophisticated taste in podcasts, but you can change that. NPR has a new podcast about podcasts. It's called The Big Listen, and it tells you about podcasts that might be worth your time. That'd be nice for a change, right? Check out NPR's newest podcast, The Big Listen, on the NPR One app at npr.org/podcasts. Ha! We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and not the new Puzzler.
Right. The old Puzzler was so challenging that we're continuing it for another week.
Yeah, right.
That's bull. You don't really have a new Puzzler, do you?
Not really. I need another week, man.
All right, but if you need a challenge, we did have what I call a spectacularly interesting and difficult puzzler last week.
You can find it at our website, cartalk.com, and we'll have a new puzzler, of course, next week.
If you'd like to talk about your car, the number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Peter from Asheville, North Carolina.
Peter!
Hey, how you doing?
I'm just fine, man. How are you?
Good. Not bad.
All right, good. I got a problem. First of all, I'm not trying to weasel out of my responsibility in this mess I'm having with this Toyota truck.
Okay.
And having said that, I'm not going to try to weasel out of responsibility.
Yeah.
All right. I'm from New York City originally.
Yeah.
I always believe there that when you park a car in standard transmission, you do not leave it in gear. And that's because if somebody taps you from behind trying to park, maybe the car will jump start and drive away or something, or if they tow it, I don't know. My wife always disagreed, she being from South Carolina.
And being the smarter of the two.
Apparently, yes. Right. So
you didn't have to say it, you know.
No, but I knew.
But all of America knew already. You didn't have to say it.
But Peter knew, too. And
that's all
it's
the
better,
reason.
the catharsis of saying the words, yes, I know, or even apparently. It's good. It helps.
Feel better.
It cleanses. It cleanses.
All right, so this is what happened. I parked this Toyota truck.
Yeah.
And I don't put it in gear. I just put the emergency brake on. You pull out the thing, it makes clicky sounds. You know, there it is all the way out. And then I go inside to work. Yeah. About 3.5 hours later.
The truck is gone.
Well, not exactly. A person who worked in the office kind of came down and told me that they saw my truck all by itself kind of back up out of the place where it was parked, kind of roll down the driveway and whack into a retaining wall on the other side.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we got the truck fixed, and I fussed at Toyota about it. How come the emergency brake let go all of a sudden? They took the emergency brake apart. You know, I called Toyota, and they sent me to a local dealer who took the emergency brake all apart, said there's nothing wrong with it, put it all back together again, and gave me the truck back. And they kind of won't help me out or anything.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any way that I can blame at least some of this on Toyota so I can get them to pay for some of the body and bumper
I
damage?
would give up on that plan completely.
Okay.
It's time in America that we assume responsibility for our own actions.
Yeah, I was afraid you were going to say that.
This may be the turning point.
Yeah, today?
Right now.
Peter.
With Peter.
Peter from Asheville may be the slogan.
You may be the poster boy.
That's it. When we do our Million Moron March. Peter can be at the very forefront with me.
Oh, great.
You guys can go hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
Up the steps of the Capitol.
The two biggest morons.
Yeah, I think that it has to. I mean, we live in a very complex world where it's easy to blame someone else and sue for a few $1 million. And
Apparently
get some...
not. I'm trying to.
Well, you don't have the right lawyer. If you had the right lawyer, I'm sure you could sue them. But it's time to just say, hey, look, I should have known better, and I smashed up my own truck.
Yeah, and you did. So
I did.
Let's go back.
If you read the owner's manual, it will tell you to put the thing in gear when you park it. I believe.
You should never, whether you have an automatic transmission or otherwise, you should never trust a handbrake.
Okay.
Because handbrakes are notorious for not really working. And the reason they don't work is usually because they're out of adjustment. Because they need to be adjusted frequently. Because the way most of them work, in fact, all of them that I can think of, is that a cable is connecting the end of that handle that you pull on to something. And cables are notorious for stretching. And as they stretch, the effectiveness of the brake gets less and less and less. So Unless you have been religious about doing this, getting the thing adjusted, then you can't trust it.
Okay.
Your terminology was not correct. The fact that you said that the handbrake let go.
Well, I found it when I got back in the truck. The handle was now all the way in underneath the dashboard.
Really?
It had let
So
go.
the handbrake did let go.
Well, that's my belief, yeah.
Ah.
It may have, in which case the mechanism under the dash may be faulty. There's a little ratcheting mechanism there.
Right, it makes that clicky sound when you pull it out.
I think you should sue.
I think you should sue also. I take back everything I said.
Me too.
If you found that in the down position, then there was something wrong with it. But everything else I said holds. You should never trust that stupid thing, and that's why you should always put it in gear.
That's why you shouldn't trust it, because it's a Mickey Mouse 5-cent little mechanism.
Yeah.
That is subject to failure.
That can let go sometimes.
That can let go. I've never seen one let go.
I haven't either.
And I think you're lying. To save face with your wife. You've told this story so many times now, you actually believe it.
So I'm confused now. Am I the poster boy for responsibility or what?
We don't know. We may not be able to use you at all.
I got you.
Yeah.
No, that thing probably did let go then, if that's what you say.
Right,
but
right.
But your wife is absolutely right. You should always put it in gear, and you should put it in either first gear or reverse gear.
Right, I've been keeping it in first ever since.
That's good for you.
Excellent.
Okay, I appreciate your time.
See you, Peter.
Okay, thanks
Bye,
a lot.
Peter.
Bye.
Gee, I thought we had a poster boy there.
Well, I hate to doubt anyone's veracity, but I don't think the thing let go.
What?
I've never ever seen one of those. I'm telling you, I think he's told a lie so many times.
No. Let's not forget that he brought it to the dealer, and the dealer said there's nothing wrong with it. Now,
That's
the
right.
dealer knows that if there is something wrong with it,
They have to cover it up.
they're in big trouble. And what better opportunity than to just put in a new little ratcheting thing and tell him, Peter, it's all fine. We checked everything out.
Oh, you suspect a conspiracy?
If you're going to suspect someone of being sleazy, shouldn't it be the dealer?
Yeah, you're right.
Peter sounded like a perfectly honest, reliable chap.
No, he did.
I don't think he lied at all.
Well, I don't know. I have my doubts. Anyway.
Well, I would look to see if that one piece is new.
He'd never know. Alternatively, he could just try it again. I think he should park it in the same spot, set the handbrake, and leave it in neutral.
Yeah, but he's got to stand guard to make sure no one stands behind the
Bring
truck.
a sleeping bag. 1-800-332-9287. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Leah Fry from South Hadley.
Oh, my God.
Leah!
Remember me?
We've been so worried.
Jeez.
I feel bad. I didn't mean to worry you guys.
Well, you did. I mean, that letter you sent us had such a tone of discouragement and depression.
Well, yeah, I'm going through a pretty tough time, but don't worry, I'm not suicidal or anything, so I hope you didn't get that from my letter.
Well, I mean, are things any better since you wrote the letter?
Well, they're better right now. I mean, I'm just ecstatic to be talking with you guys. You've just made my day.
Well, that's great.
But, I mean, I'm just trying to hang in there and try to find answers, but it's really hard.
Answers, huh? I mean, yeah, tell me, basically, what are you, just homesick? I mean, you miss being with your friends and your family?
Yeah, I'm pretty homesick. I'm homesick for the geography is so different here. I'm from Washington originally, so
yeah.
It's just I miss the mountains and the water and all of
We
that.
have water?
My family and all that too. What?
We have water?
Not where I am. Not much.
Yeah, no, you don't have any ocean there in South Hadley. You're right, actually. Now that I think of it, it is kind of a depressing little place.
Well, no, it isn't. No,
well, it is.
In fact, most kids are kind of excited to get away from the clutches of their parents and go off and be on their own and be responsible for themselves. And you can stay up as late as you want. You can come in at night whenever you want. You can do whatever you want as long as you can go to class if you want or not go to class. You can make new friendships.
Yeah, well,
It's kind of an exciting time.
Yeah.
Have you made any new friends?
Yeah, I've made some new friends, and that's really good, but I put a lot of pressure on myself to always be achieving and always to get the A's, and so it's a lot more of that.
A's are very overrated.
What?
Yeah.
A's are overrated.
You think
B's
so?
are good enough.
Oh,
In fact,
absolutely.
sometimes a C is pretty good. I've had a few C's look pretty good.
C's. Sometimes you'd pay $100 for a D, man.
I tried that. They wanted 500.
Woo! No, I mean, if that's what's troubling you, I mean, you shouldn't do that to yourself. Mm-hmm. A's are vastly overrated. My brother is absolutely right. I mean, I think I never had any. I've heard that they're vastly overrated. And the people who have the A's, they're not any better than you.
Uh-huh.
And they're probably not nowhere near as happy.
Well, I know. See, that's the thing is I'm trying to weigh my happiness and saying, is it worth it to be sacrificing all of that just to be getting the 4-point GPA?
Yeah. More importantly, it sounds to me from your letter that you're studying stuff that you're not interested in.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, but I've just pushed myself for so many years to be doing so well that I've just burned out on it. I've burned out on it.
Yeah, and that happens.
That does happen.
You don't want to burn out now. This is the wrong time to peak. Trust me on this.
When's the right time?
Well, I don't know, but it's a long ways away. Yeah, so you don't want to peak now.
Uh-huh.
I mean, what if you told yourself that a B was absolutely spectacular? And then think of how wonderful you'd feel. Suddenly, nights would come when people would say, hey, want to go to a movie? And you'd say, sure.
Sure, I can get a B in that course without even doing the work.
I got an A average now. It's too high. I mean, what if you told yourself that you don't want any A's?
God, that'd be so tough. But...
Sheesh.
You are a very self-motivated individual.
I mean, I don't know if I should divulge this on public radio here.
Divulge it.
To the public, but I have a son who's in high school.
Uh-huh.
And when he first started high school, he, too, thought that he had to get A's.
Uh-huh.
And he was miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him one day, A's are not important. B's are great. Mm-hmm. He looked at me like the whole world had opened up to him, and he said, you gotta be kidding. I said, are you kidding? A B is absolutely wonderful. Ever since he realized that, he never does any homework anymore. But I told him that because he was getting too tense.
Mm-hmm.
He was losing perspective on what life is all about.
Oh, I remember him. He kept saying, I'm a wigwam. I'm a TP. Too tense.
Too tense. Wigwam. That was bad.
Hey, on the spot. What do you want on the spot?
No, and the point is that an A is not all that important. You have a whole life that you have to live.
Yeah.
And grades are just one little piece of it.
Well, I will confess to you, I received many A's during my collegiate career.
Uh-huh.
Wait,
I also got a lot
Swimming doesn't count.
And I will admit that there were many courses in which I got A's that I learned less than the courses when I got C's in.
Yeah.
So if learning the stuff is the most important thing,
Uh-huh.
which I think it is, then the grade is unimportant. And once you've accepted that philosophy, then you can go and study the stuff for itself and not for the grade.
I know.
And that's what you need to do. Mm-hmm. Don't focus on the grade. Focus on learning the stuff and having fun, because you're only going to be 20 once.
And more importantly, when you don't want to get A's, you have the ideal opportunity to keep the professors honest.
Uh-huh.
Because most of them are feeding you a crock of crap. And if you're just sitting there, if you're just sitting there in a very relaxed mode, not taking notes, never take notes.
Never take notes.
Never take notes in
class.
class.
I take them so profusely.
And tell that sociology professor, what's his name, Marion?
Yeah, tell him to shape up.
Right.
Because we're sick and tired of him.
Right, tell him you're sick of listening to his lies.
I mean, you can just sit there casually and ask all the most pithy questions and keep those bums honest. Because don't forget, these are all people who can't get a job anywhere else.
Okay.
Remember, you're better than they are. Absolutely. Because you're not going to end up as a lowly college professor.
Oh, of course not.
Of course not. You're much better than they are. So if you ever get down low again, Leah, call us anytime, day or night.
Seriously?
Absolutely. We will guide you through these 4 years at that 2-bit school that you're at.
Okay.
And in the process, we'll probably straighten them out. So any particular problems you have on any subject, except biology. I don't understand anything about biology.
Dougie knows biology.
Doug knows biology.
Right.
So we're covered. Okay. There isn't a course you can take that among everyone in this studio, we couldn't tell you anything you want to know. So let us be your personal mentors.
I'll take
Are you a
you
freshman?
up on it. If you're there, I'll take you up on it.
It's a deal.
Really?
We'll do your homework for you. What do we charge for homework these days?
Yeah. Send us the assignments. We'll fax you back the stuff that you should do.
Okay, well, I won't take advantage of you, but I may check in now and again.
Okay.
Well, we'll be checking with you just to make sure you're okay.
And I'm telling you right now, as a father figure,
Uh-huh.
I don't want to see any A's.
Okay.
I don't want any A's.
No A's.
And no C's either.
Either A's or F's. B's or F's.
B's or F's.
B's or F's.
I want all B's.
Okay, I think I can handle the B's, I think.
I know you can do it.
Okay.
If you see yourself getting close to an A,
Uh-huh.
then do something stupid like, slap the instructor and the kisser. Do something just to tick him off and get back down to a B.
Okay.
See you, Leah.
All right, thank you very much.
Keep
Keep
smiling.
us posted, really.
Okay, I will.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye. Wow.
Well, you've wasted another perfectly good hour
You're
listening to
not kidding.
Cards. Our esteemed producer is Doug, the Subway fugitive, not a slave to fashion, Bongo Boy Berman. Our associate producers are David, the Calves of Belleville Green, and Catherine Frau Blucher Fenolosa. Our web lackey is Doug, the Old Gray Mare, assisted by Connie Bridgeford. Our engineer is John Cartman Perotti. Our theme music is by David Dog Risman. And our technical, spiritual, and menu advisor, just back from the Bon Air, roast hare, fruit de mer, pomme de terre, Anjou pear, haricot vert, and gummy bear food fair, is John Buxton.
How does he find these things?
I don't know. The internet, man. Our public opinion pollster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician Margin O'Vera. Our customer care representative is Haywood Jabuzzoff. Our personal makeup artist is Bud Tugley. Our physical therapist is Estelle Hertz. Our caffeine addiction counselor is Bruno Moore. Our mechanics assistant is Hannah Twomey. Our furnace repairman is Levon Coates. Our sidewalk clothing vendor is Chip Pence. Our tolerance quality control guy is Nat Sass. Our official spokesperson is Howie Vasov. The pre-recorded portions of today's show were selected by our staff librarian, all been heard before, and the head of our Working Mother support group is Erasmus B. Dragon. Our chief counsel from the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe is Hugh Lewis Dewey, known to all his deputy assistant bums in Harvard Square as Huey Louie Dewey. Thanks so much for listening. We're Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and remember, don't drive like my brother.
Don't drive like my brother.
We'll be back next week. Bye-bye. You can get a podcast of this show, which is number 1642, subscribe to our weekly podcast, and check out our Taste Challenge clothing and best of collections all over at cartalk.com. Also this week at cartalk.com, the Mechanics Files, our humongous database of mechanics all over the country who have been recommended by other visitors to our website.
Hey, have you entered any mechanics who you happen to know? I mean, whose work you can vouch for? Someone maybe that you grew up with, or someone who taught you the ropes? Someone who's always been like a superb older brother to you?
Sorry, I don't know how to spell your last name.
Get out!
Car Talk is a production of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe and WBUR in Boston.
And even though NPR releases a pack of least wanted playing cards with our pictures on it whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.